Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be reading this book, Shadows and Gods by Chioma Amechi. I started reading it yesterday and I really enjoyed it. The book opens with our main character Kairalu at a crossover night event. And for anyone who might be watching outside Nigeria or Africa in general that might not have an idea of what that means, it's usually a program held on the 31st of December into the 1st of January, into the 1st of a new year, where people go to pray over their new year and imbue it with blessings and all beautiful things. So as the book progresses, as the chapter progresses, we can tell that Kairalu is a very religious person. And not just that, she's hungry for life, she's hungry for things. She wants all the things. She wants children, she wants money, she wants wealth, fame, everything. On the other hand, her husband has an equanimity about life that she is increasingly discontent with, right? He's not as hungry for life, he's content with life, and she feels like that is a mark of failure, right? That is what unsuccessful people, she feels like unsuccessful people use contentment as a way to deal with their unsuccessful life. So we can tell the kind of person she is just from the first chapter, and I really enjoy it. I'm just going to read the first paragraph to introduce us to this book and to the character. How do you deal with witches frustrating your affairs? How do you keep them in line at the launch of a new year so that they don't interfere with your blessings? At the Greater Eden Ministry, the customary way was to cram a bonfire with heaps of paper, petitions for God's ears. Kairalu's note crinkled in the flame too, like something small and unimportant. To her, this was the fire's whole what, her own prayer in cursive handwriting on a square yellow sheet, burning to ash. So we see that she's religious and also superstitious, because you see that it starts with how do we deal with witches, right? Frustrating your affairs. So she's a very superstitious person. As the book progresses, we even see that it is something that was passed on from her father. Her father is extremely superstitious. I'm going to be reading the paragraph that made me chuckle so much. I remember when I was reading it yesterday night, I had to send a snippet of like a photograph of it to another member of my book club to be like, oh my god, this line is so funny. So I'm just gonna read it. Okay, so what precedes this paragraph, right, is we see Kairalu at the crossover night, right? And eventually they cross over to the new year. And so she hugs her one of her closest friends that is with her at the crossover event at a stadium. And someone is seated like behind her friend, right? And the person also wants to hug her, but because the person doesn't look so good, the person looks like the person has tribal marks and all that, the person doesn't look good. She doesn't want to hug the person, so she snubs the person because she thinks like, no, I don't want to be in close proximity with someone like this that can jinx my new year, right? And so that's what precedes this, like a throwback to her father's own prejudice, right? Okay, I'm going to read now. She had developed an irrational complex around these things. There was a man who lived on her street as a child, Blackie, and he had the darkest skin she had ever seen. Her father advised people to go back to bed if Blackie's face was the first face they saw in the morning. Seeing his face first I'm sorry, it's too funny. I know this is like, I understand that this is so messed up, man. I know that it's messed up, but what's so funny about it is that it's real. Like, this is a realistic portrayal, because there are so many people with like it's like so normalized to have this kind of reaction to people, right? To have this kind of suspicion about people. So that's what's so funny, because I have experienced something like this so many times, right? So okay, I'm just going to continue. Her father advised people to go back to bed if Blackie's face was the first face they saw in the morning. seeing his face first in a new year would inevitably contaminate 365 days with ill luck. Stay away from this man if you want your God, I'm sorry. Stay away from this man if you want your future to be bright. He used he used to say. It started so sorry. God. It started as a joke, but when her father lost his job the same day he toasted the new year with this man, he be oh my God, I know it might not be funny to anyone else, but it's like the mental imagery I have, like, it's of memories that it's like memories I've had of this particular kind of behavior. That's what makes it so funny, right? Because I had when I let me not deviate. Let me just finish reading it first. Okay. It started as a joke, but when her father lost his job the same day he toasted the new year with this with this man, he began to take his own advice. Everyone avoided Blackie on New Year's Day. It wasn't easy because he was such a friendly fellow, and he was bound to show up at the door with some dish made by his wife. But nobody was ever home. Nobody wanted to rubbish their year over over goat's meat pepper soup. So the power guys have taken their lights, and I have, as a result, turned on all the rechargeable lights I have in my house. So if you see reflections, that's why. If you see a lot of reflections, know that there are different flashlights on right now. And I'm just gonna round off the video. Okay, so why I find this so funny, why I found that passage so funny, is because it's so real. You know, the superstition is such a commonplace. It was so commonplace when I was growing up. So it's like, you know, using a mirror to look into my past as a child. Because growing up, my mom had a provision store. I don't know how to explain it for people who might not be West Africans. Maybe just a small store. It's not like those big malls. Like a really small store where we sold little groceries, right? It was like her side hustle because she worked at a clinic at that time. So it was like a side hustle for her. So a lot of the times when I came back from school, I spent time with the sales girls, and when I had holidays, I spent my entire days there. It was during this time that I started to learn about all these superstitions around money and luck and all that. So for example, there were certain people that, you know, it was believed that if they bought from you the first thing in the morning, you would not sell that day, you would not make a lot of sales. And if there were other people that if they bought from you, they had good luck and you would make a lot of sales. So many times when those people with the bad luck so weird, when those people with the bad luck came to buy, the sales girls would be like, oh, we don't have it, we don't have what you're looking for. And the guy would be, is it not that? No, we don't have it, we don't have it. So it's just like a very normal thing, right? And that is just, I don't even know what to make of it. But, and I'm not trying to I do not think that it has no basis, right? I don't know how to explain it. I do not think that there's no basis for such belief. I don't know if that makes sense, right? But looking back as an adult, I think that many of the times it was based on looks, right? It was based on looks. Perhaps there were some that were based on experience, like there were cases of counterfeit money and all that, where the sales girls will refuse to sell because of the counterfeit money, right? So those were also things that factored in that kind of behavior. However, there were some that were just based on appearances alone, and I get it. As humans, we use our senses to judge. We have no other thing to go on but our senses, our gut feelings. So I get it. But but in the case of Blackie now, you know, this is from the book, from the passage, you see that he's a very cheerful guy, and yet, you know, our main character's father is running around telling people all sorts of things about this guy, you know. And it's so real. It's so real. It's such a real Nigerian experience, because I remember talking to a friend of mine I wanted to go and spend like a little period of a holiday with another person, with another friend, but they are very superstitious. So I remember talking to one other friend that's not as superstitious, and I was saying I'm scared of going to stay there, because what if I go and I arrive and then shortly after, there is like something happens, maybe money is not flowing as it used to, and then this friend now says, like, has this belief that I'm the one that caused that. So it's quite funny when I'm reading it, but it's funny because it is a realistic experience, and I can just imagine how, I mean for in many cases people are so desensitized to it, right? Desensitized to this kind of prejudice. But what of people who do not have that kind of tough skin? Imagine that they find out that a friend of theirs thinks that they have bad luck, right? It will hurt them. It would hurt them. And so that was why I was telling this friend of mine about the other friend that I'm afraid to go to this person's place, because they are so superstitious. Like, I do not want to go when something now happens and they're like, oh, it's because of this person brought bad luck. It's just, I feel like there might be some truth to it. I don't know, because I've had some supernatural kind of things happen, or so, I don't know. But I also think that we should be, it gives a lot to think about, right? The first chapter, the chapters, this chapter I have titled, there's no title, but I've titled it Belief is a Weapon. Belief as a weapon, something like that. At first I was like, belief is a two-edged sword, because there's a part about the pastors. Oh my god, there's so much to go into. It's just the first chapter, and it's so rich, guys. If you can get this book, please do. Please do. It's such a good book. And I know I've only read the first chapter, but it's such a good book. There's so much to chew on, right? I love things that give me so much to chew on. So I love books that give me so much to chew on, and I really appreciate. So there's so many talking points, but I am so tired already. So, belief as a weapon. Now, it's your prerogative to believe whatever you want to believe, but it could be hurtful. As in the case of Blackie, it could be hurtful, because if I find out that a friend of mine has been going around telling people that I give them bad luck, I will be hurt, and I'm not sure I would consider that person my friend anymore, because life happens. Seasons come and go. It's rainy season now, but very soon it's gonna be harmattan. Very soon it's gonna be dry season. There's nothing we can do about it, right? There's nothing we can do about it. There are times of abundance, and there are times when things look dry. Now imagine you go to visit someone when when their dry period starts, and they say it's because of you. So there's so much to think about. Anyways, that will be all for today. I have rambled so much, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I will be reading the second chapter tonight, and maybe I'll make a video, maybe I'll not, I do not know. But thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.